Your worth should come from your relationship with God, not from titles, achievements, or the environment. Being a child of God is not a disadvantage. Daniel and his friends were clearly identified as children of Israel. These were people set apart by covenant. Their faith and their way of life made them stand out amongst all the nations around them. And this distinctiveness made them visible, and at times vulnerable to ridicule, pressure, and opposition. Yet, what appeared to be a disadvantage was in fact the source of their strength and influence. Their identity did not limit them in Babylon, rather it distinguished them. And similarly, when we are identified as children of God, it is not a limitation. Let me say that again. Being called a child of God is not a limitation. There are people who sometimes find themselves in places like in the fashion industry, in the creative industry, in entertainment, and it might look like a disadvantage, but really, God has positioned you there strategically for a purpose. We're going to see how carrying the tag or bearing the identity as a child of God, a son of God, can be advantageous no matter where you find yourself. If you are a child of God, you carry unique value. Daniel and his friends carried the value that could not be produced by the Babylonian education or culture. This worth was intrinsic. It came from their relationship with God, not from titles that they were given. It couldn't come from the environment nor their achievements. So scripture reminds us, and a very popular scripture that we love, 1 Peter chapter 2 verse 9 says that we are a chosen people, a royal priesthood, and a holy nation. This divine strategy gives believers a value system, a moral clarity, and inner strength that the world desperately needs. Then we can also say that as children of God, we have the advantage of hearing from God and carrying out His will. This is one of the greatest advantages of being a child of God, actually, that we have the ability to hear from Him. So Daniel did not solely rely on his own intellect or strategy, but he sought divine wisdom. When mysteries baffled the wisest men of Babylon, the king had a dream, and he was looking for someone to tell him the dream and also to interpret it. Nobody could, but Daniel prayed and God revealed the answer. So children of God are called to not only hear His voice, but also to obey it and invite others to do the same. When we hear God and we do what He is saying, we can invite others to also obey God. And when they see our obedience, they're actually drawn to Him. So through his obedience, Daniel became a channel through which God's purposes were made known to kings and nations. Then your relationship with God makes you valuable to your society. Daniel's faith was not a private belief. It produced public impact. So his relationship with God preserved lives. He brought counsel to kings and provided stability in the times of national uncertainty. This is what we are called to do, that when there is turmoil all around us, there's a stability because we have heard from God, because we have a relationship with God, and because God is always stable. He's never wavering, He's never shivering, He's never, not knowing what to do. We can bring that stability into our society. So when society faces moral confusion, leadership crisis, and fear of the future, believers who are grounded in God have the ability to bring the wisdom of God. We can anchor the nation in wisdom, integrity, and hope. Our faith positions us as a solution and not as liabilities to our community. Then more directly, your Christianity is not a disadvantage. In a culture that often pressures believers to blend in, Daniel shows that our faithfulness to God does not hinder our progress. It can actually accelerate divine promotion. And though he refused to compromise, God elevated him. Though he stood apart, God caused him to stand out. So Daniel's story affirms this truth. What the world may label as a disadvantage, God will use as a platform for influence. Your Christianity does not limit your relevance. It defines it. When you remain rooted in God, He places you where your faith can bless families, can bless institutions and nations.